Herm Edwards at Arizona State. Coach, you're 66 years old. You have a roster.
Wait, he's 66 years old. He act like he's 35.
The energy, man.
Herm looked 35.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Coach, at the age of 66, living the life that you have lived, the experiences you've had as a black man in America with a roster that has several African-American players, what are you telling your youngsters right now when you drop them off and you tell them I'm going to be their dad and they're on scholarship, the whole 85, but for those African-American players, what are you telling them?
Well, I tell all our players that the key here is we're going to allow you to be the best version of who you are. Bottom line. And with that, understand this, is that there's going to be a standard that is set here that we all have to meet, and it starts with me. It starts with this. Words and actions. They match up every day. Words and actions. That's very important to me. And you don't compromise your values. You stand up for what you believe. When this stuff started taking place, the social unrest and all these things, the first thing I told my players, I said, look, you have this wonderful platform now in today's world. Make sure you use it in a way that you have solutions. And you cannot stand silent when you see things like this occurring. You have this wonderful platform now that maybe when I played in my era, you couldn't do that. When you look at the players in college, professional sports, using their platform now when they see social injustice, I applaud them. I really do. I sit back and I applaud them. You know, I grew up in the late 60s and the early 70s. When you're talking about the Vietnam War, all those things, Dr. King was assassinated. The social movement was taking place then, right? So I've watched it then and I watched it now. And what's really good to see, you see people of all different walks of life in these protests. We're tired. America's tired. And it's young people. It's young people. And to protest, to move something, this is not a light switch. This is a rock they're trying to move. It might not be better for them, but it'll be better for their children. That's what movements are about. It's not about you, what you're going to get right now. It's about the generation that will follow. You got to make it better for them.
Coach, what was your reaction? Obviously, you saw the NBA, Major League Baseball shut it down and say enough. We're not taking the field. We're not taking the court. What was that reaction like when you saw that?
I sat and went, "This is America. This is the America that we talk about. That you have a right to stand up for what you believe, and you won't be cut. You won't be traded." 30 years ago, that was not the case. And, players now know they have this wonderful platform, and they use it in a way to make change and to make change better. And that's what they're trying to do.
If you guys were playing and the Pac-12 was still going on, having a number of African-American coaches, young, on your staff, a little bit older, would you guys consider maybe saying, you know what, we don't want to play, we're going to boycott this thing?
It'd be interesting, Key. I do know this. I always know the pulse of the players, and I say this with this in mind. And you guys remember this. I was the head coach of the Jets when 9/11 hit after our first game, and I can remember the league at that time was considering playing, and they weren't going to let us know. They said we're going to play, and I went into the team move, and I told our players, I said, if you guys don't want to play, because it's too early to play, you take a vote. They voted they didn't want to play. New York Jets football team. Went down there, talked to the GM and the owner, said, we're forfeiting if the league plays. So I just think, I'm one of those guys that, I'm going to stand with my players. If they feel that way, you have to do that. You got to stand with your players. If you truly say that you're going to be a man of value and integrity, and you take the information in, and you know the pulse of your team, and our team wasn't going to play, we were going to forfeit.
Herm, how quickly do you think, if this does happen in the NBA, that NBA players will be able to potentially reach out to NFL players and everybody can get on the same page if they can make this happen? Because obviously it would be a big hit to the NBA, and I think that would cause a lot of noise. But where it would cause exponential noise would be the NFL.
Well, I think, and there always lies the problem, because everyone has an own opinion about this, and you can't, if a guy wants to play, you can't say, well, you're not with us. This is America. And, you're talking about the NFL, there's, 1,500 players in the National Football League, a lot of young guys, a lot of guys in the middle of their careers, a lot of older guys toward the end of their careers. It would be interesting if that conversation got generated to see what they would decide to do. I would assume that the NFL players are going to do something. Hopefully they do it in unison. So it's well thought out, and not just team by team, but do something in the sense of, hey, this is what we believe, and this is what we're standing up for.